Lindsay Nova here. I'm coming to you from this bamboo bungalow that I've been staying in, designed with sacred geometry principles here in the coffee country of India, known as Korg. It's about 3 hours away from Mysore. And today I wanted to talk about why I have decided to stay here in India during the pandemic and how I've shifted my life and my business. So I feel as an artist and as a creator and even as a teacher, I am constantly rebirthing myself. I'm always allowing myself to go through this process of shedding the old and making way for the new. So whether or not there's a pandemic or not, I've still always felt like I have this process where I go through periods of time where I may not really know, or I go through a dark night of the soul, and I just really have to go through it in order to allow my next level to come into being. And so a part of actually being here in this bungalow, I just turned 35 last week, and so I treated myself to a little manifestation vacation to really call in my next level of being and my next level of success. So, I like to get really clear on what my vision is, what my dreams are, and I often find that my dreams, they come into fruition and then they die. So my dreams are constantly coming and going, they're coming to life and then they're dying. And this is the process. Yeah, we're just constantly having to reinvent ourselves. And so I feel that with the pandemic, we were all given this huge opportunity to reinvent ourselves. So for the last 4 years, I've been traveling the world. I haven't lived anywhere longer than 3 months. And the last time I lived somewhere for 3 months was in 2017 in Sri Lanka. And things just started to get so crazy out of control last year that I wasn't even in a single country longer than 5 weeks. And I don't even think I really lived anywhere in one place, maybe longer than 4 weeks. And this was extremely taxing on my nervous system. I don't think I even realized the extent of it at the time until the pandemic hit. But I did know by the end of last year that I needed a break. So I've been traveling, teaching yoga, running mostly aerial yoga teacher trainings, and also teaching on 200-hour teacher trainings, which has been amazing and super fulfilling. I absolutely love the work that I do. But I felt that by the end of last year, I really needed to spend some time with my own yoga practice and learning under a teacher, and not just like 1 week or 1 month. I needed extended time. So it had really been a dream of mine to go to Mysore, India. I've been wanting to go there for years because I've practiced Ashtanga Vinyasa on and off for about 8 years. And the universe was really listening when I said I wanted to go, because I've now been stuck there for almost 11 months. Well, not stuck. Now I can move around, but I have decided to call Mysore home, or at least it will be my home base as I decide to remain in India during the pandemic of 2020 and however long this will last. So I decided to come here, and my plan was just to spend about 3 months in Mysore practicing Ashtanga. I was making a lot of progress in my practice, study pranayama, and so I had this crazy world tour plan where I was going to squeeze in 3 continents in 5 weeks time or something like that, all while I was also editing my first online aerial yoga course, and I had even taken on another project where I was editing and writing a meditation ebook for someone. And so then lockdowns happened, and of course none of that happened. And when the lockdowns happened, I noticed that a lot of people were really freaking out and fleeing whatever country they were in, going back home, etc. And since I hadn't been in the United States in a year and a half, it just really didn't make sense to me to go back there. And I just decided to be still. And I think that was the best choice that I could have made. I didn't want any extra stress on my system for health purposes. I wasn't necessarily, and I'm still not necessarily so afraid of the virus, although I do know people who have gotten it, such as my sister, who she didn't have very bad symptoms. Also, my grandma's brother got it. He has been very sick. So it's affected people in a lot of different ways. But anyways, it's not what I'm here to talk about. And so at first I really didn't know what to do, and I was really quite frustrated with a lot of the online yoga and online teaching. I thought that the market was really saturated and a lot of people were just teaching on Facebook. I mean, there was so much live streaming on Facebook. I would just like scroll through my feed and like 80s workout, tantra talk, blah, blah, blah. It was like something different, which is amazing. It was really beautiful to see all of my friends, expressing themselves in this way, and we're all just doing the best that we can. But yeah, I wasn't having a lot of success actually teaching drop-in classes, and I realized that that's not what I do. I don't teach drop-in classes usually unless I'm hired by a resort. Because I've been teaching yoga for 13 years, I've grown my business in other ways. And so then I decided to shift into the online teacher training world, and it's been really super successful for me. And as a solo woman, it's just been very, very fulfilling. So just going into why exactly I decided to stay in India. Well, first of all, I think that I really lucked out being in Mysore, because Mysore has a pretty good infrastructure when it comes to housing, food, being weatherproof, community, although not as much as a big foreigner or expat community as maybe places like Rishikesh or Goa. So I would say that Mysore is definitely missing the elements of like nature, and I mean there is community, but it's much smaller. There's just not as many foreigners around, and a lot of them actually left. And by the time June came around, I was the only person left in my building, and I only knew 2 people left in Mysore. So there was like a month that I went without a hug. It was really awful. I hope that you never have to experience that. And if you did, I'm super sorry, and I hope that you've gotten a hug since then. The thing is that in India, it's really easy to have a lot of money, and it's also really easy to have no money at all. So like any way that you spin it, it's just like pretty easy to get by in India. There's an abundance of food here, there's abundance of resources. If you just go anywhere, I mean, begging is pretty much accepted. It's taught to kids. This is something that can be kind of annoying, but it is a part of the way here. There's the gypsy lifestyle still goes on. People selling their food, their wares, market style. A lot of times as a Westerner who frequented festival culture and rainbow gatherings, this is not like a new concept to have a trade circle or to lay out your blanket and sell whatever it is that you're, that you have. This is the way of life in countries like India. It's not necessarily like so unique. This is just the way it is. And India is not the only place that this happens. But what I find here is that when I see this lifestyle and people living this way, it really encourages me to do the same. However, I utilize the internet and I just present myself. Maybe I don't have a trade blanket with all of my things lined up, but I have my website, right? So it's sort of like the same thing, just in the digital world. The other thing I love about India is that it's like East meets West. So you'll often see like an ox pulling a cart down a street full of cars, you know, that sort of thing. I mean, maybe if this was my first trip to India, maybe I would have left already, but this is my 6th trip to India, and I've been here 10 and a half months. I really lucked out with a place with good Wi-Fi. I had air conditioning when it was hot. I have an amazing rooftop where I could hang my aerial yoga hammock, and I just stuck around long enough to find a new community of friends. I even found a new Ashtanga teacher as well. The other thing is that Indian hospitality is the absolute best. Honestly, there's just nothing like it in the world. If you've ever been to India, you know what I mean, because they will just feed you, they will make sure you're completely taken care of. If something is wrong, they will fix it immediately. And well, if you've been to India, you know that something will go wrong, whether it's the Wi-Fi not working, air conditioning not working, the hot water going out, bugs, whatever. But they will definitely do the best to take care of you, whereas I found some other countries, like Thailand, for instance, again, great hospitality, but I think that India beats them. And so I also just have to give some credit to my landlord, who has been absolutely amazing to me during this whole process and really treated me like family. And without him, yeah, I think this would have been a totally different experience. You know, the thing is that India, it doesn't offer as much luxury as places like Bali. However, it's still loads cheaper. So I'll just give you an example. I have a 1-bedroom apartment with AC, Wi-Fi, hot water, and a kitchenette, a couch, a desk, a table, a big room to practice yoga in, a huge bed, a wardrobe. I paid $280 a month. And then I spend about $30 a week on food. So, and this is actually a lot. This is a lot. Other foreigners will not spend this much. Indians will not spend this much. I would say generally Indians spend probably about 10,000 rupees a month on rent, if even foreigners. You can definitely spend less. That's about, I think it's like $130, $140 a month, something like that. That's for usually just like a bedroom or like maybe a smaller apartment without so many amenities. And then I shop at a place to get my food that's definitely targeted more towards foreigners. And so the prices are a little bit higher. And for me, that's totally okay. You know, this has been like a part of me like learning to fit into like who am I in the market? You know, who do I like to support? Because, you know, I allow myself to play into these businesses that cater to me, just as in the same way that the people who sign up for my courses, I cater exactly to them. So I feel a part of it is about being aligned with what you like to spend your money on, right? Because I feel like the more I'm aligned with what I spend my money on, then the more the people who are aligned to support me will come into my life as well. Now that doesn't mean that I just like play into like every North Indian who's trying to sell me something on the street. You know, they definitely have outdated marketing techniques. The thing is that I do have money and I like to spend it on nice things and nice food, and I'm willing to pay for it, and I have no shame in that at all. And you know, a lot of foreigners will, they're cheap. Sometimes they're even cheaper than Indians. I mean, foreigners are taken advantage of price-wise sometimes, which is a little unfair. Like, say if you're trying to, you know, order a rickshaw somewhere or something like that. So that can be frustrating, but in the end, it's something like, I don't know, 50 cents, $1 difference. Oh, there's a little spider right here. Where'd you come from, buddy? So yeah. It's gonna shift over a little bit here. Oh, it's moving. The thing is that I did not allow the pandemic to affect my lifestyle. So I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to cut off spending money on the nice food that I like to eat because I was afraid of running out of money or something like that. I use it as an opportunity, and I said, okay, what can I do? I can create a program and sell it for $199. Then I only need to sell 5 of them to make $1,000. Well, my first course, I ended up selling 10. So it's super easy. Like, if you just think about, well, how much money do I need to make? You just create a program or have an offering, and then boom, figure out how many you need to sell and price your program or offering that way. So it's really easy when you think about it. You know, so like, for example, right now I've decided to stay in this like ridiculously high-priced bungalow. I paid for 4 nights here, and it costs more than a Burning Man ticket. And I used to always go to Burning Man on like a low income or scholarship ticket. And the thing is that I always felt like I deserved a handout because I worked really hard, I didn't make enough money, and I was like in a career that didn't pay well. And the thing is I've like completely squashed that belief. And I think it's like ridiculous for people to think that, yeah, they just like deserve a handout. I just feel that there's a lot of entitlement that goes on, and a lot of laziness. And a lot of it just has to do with like mindset work, which honestly, changing your mindset is easy. Because the thing is that I know that whatever I desire and whatever I choose to spend money on, I can always afford it. And when I invest it in myself, that money always comes back to me. The thing is I always thought my professions were low value, but actually they are extremely high value. And creating my online school has been the biggest blessing in disguise during this pandemic. I know that it's been hard for a lot of people, financially, socially, health-wise, etc. I get it. But some of you, I've seen the changes you've made. I see you shifting your business. I see you working online. I see you working from home. And this is really the way to go. I know I love like rolling out of bed and hopping on a Zoom meeting. It's great. Way better than sitting in traffic. India at the same time has its own set of challenges. Monsoon season sucks. It's noisy as fuck. Like right now there's construction going on right behind me. Power outages, garbage on the streets, garbage on the beaches, shit everywhere, cow shit everywhere, dirtiest toilets you've ever seen, crazy traffic and driving. Although honestly, I don't think I can go back to Western traffic after driving in the organized chaos over here. The stares of Indian men, the flood of friend requests and messages from Indian men in my inboxes. It's not for the faint of heart here at all, but I wouldn't change anything for the world. And to be in India as an empowered woman is a super incredible feeling. And I can only hope to just continue to set an example, not only for women and people in India, but also throughout the whole world. And then just on a side note here, I also super love the spray guns next to the toilet. If you've ever been in Asia, you know that this is a thing, and they're so awesome and convenient for cleaning yourself. You don't have to use toilet paper. Toilet paper is so wasteful, so you know, you can just rinse yourself off. I also love it because as a woman, when you're bleeding on your cycle, if you've ever been caught out in public somewhere and made a mess, well, you have a spray gun to clean yourself up with, and it's super convenient. So this is why I've decided to stay in India during the pandemic. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you all very soon. Namaste.